Hello everyone, today we will talk about two small devices, namely Datalogger, that measure and record temperature and humidity for the microclimatic control of the environment. We have two models of Datalogger, the USB 2 and the USB 2 LCD, which has an additional feature, a small display, that shows the last data recorded. Inside the box you will find only the Datalogger, which looks like a USB stick. This is the input to be plugged into the computer, and this here is the sensor for the temperature and the humidity. This is the model without the LCD screen. The second model here, instead, is the one with the LCD screen.
In both the Datalogger, the battery is included, and by the way, it is the only small maintenance regularly required. Therefore, when it runs out, it will have to be replaced.
To change the battery you have to use a small screwdriver, press inside the metal tab, and at the same time to pull the upper part. And here is the battery. At this point, we go on to the computer to see step by step the installation of the software and how to use the Datalogger. To download programming software of Datalogger, you must you go directly to our homepage ctseurope.com and find the Datalogger in our search bar. Here you will find the Datalogger product, the USB 2 and USB 2 LCD models. Click on the model you purchased. On our case it is USB 2 LCD, and here you can see the characteristics of the product. This is the program to download, and you can do it. You can do it directly by clicking on this button here. Once the program has finished downloading, in the download folder you will find installer of your program. Double click on it to start the installation of the program, which will be very fast and simple, as the program is very basic. The first step is to click on next. When you then you must agree to the license term and start the installation, and then click on finish. Once the installation is completed, you will find this program icon on your desktop. By double clicking, it will open the window here. At this point we can insert our new Datalogger inside a USB socket of the computer. After plugging it, we can move on to selecting the program on the Datalogger. To start with the measurement, click on the green button on the top, set up and start the USB Datalogger. We see that the first data to be modified is the name that we want to choose for the logger, the choice of the scale of the temperature in Celsius or in Fahrenheit. We shall leave it on Celsius. The next step is very important because it will set how often the Datalogger will record the temperature and relative humidity data. It is already preset in 10 seconds, but we can choose various options: every hour, every 6 hours, every 30 minutes. A good middle ground, I'd say, is one every 30 minutes or every hour. We'll leave it on every 30 minutes. Note how the part in brackets is the time in which all the measurement will be recorded before exhausting the logger memory. So if you set it on a measurement every 30 minutes, the memory will fill up after 11 months of measurement. Of course, we recommended downloading the data in a period of time much shorter than that, like maybe once a month, depending on your requirements. But if 11 months should pass without anyone downloading the data from the pen drive, the memory will be completely filled up. Next time we'll choose the screen mode on our Datalogger with the LCD. If we choose LCD off, the first option, it will be always off and it will not display anything. If you set LCD always on, it will show the last data recorded. But you must consider that the battery life, of course, will be shorter. The recommended option is the one here in the middle, where the LCD will stay off till you press the button near the LCD. This will display on the screen for 30 seconds the last measurement recorded. Here you have to decide what to do when the memory is full. The recommended setting is logger stops, to stop recording. When the memory is full, if you click on logger continue to log, the Datalogger will keep recording over the initial data that will be cancelled then and thus lost. So we recommend the first option. Let's move on, clicking on next. The window is to set the temperatures alarm that are not audible alarm but visible, with a LED light that will flash on the logger. We suggest to set no alarm, but if you wish to set the alarm for temperature that is too high, flag high alarm. You have to set, of course, the temperature above which you want the LED light to turn on, and you can set it from here. If the temperature crosses the acceptable limit, we can select 30 degrees Celsius, for example, and the alarm is activated. Similarly, we can repeat the operation for the relative humidity if we want to set an alarm. In this case, we are not going to set the alarm. On the last window, we can set when the Datalogger has to start recording. The first option we have immediate start will start the recording after clicking on finish. In the second option, starts when the Datalogger button is pressed, and the measurement will start only when we press the button on the Datalogger. In the third option, we can delay the start of the Datalogger by selecting a time and date below. Our suggestion is to start the measurement immediately and to be inside the environment where we want to take such measurement, going, for example, with a laptop on that place, the place we are going to leave the Datalogger. Set the instrument and start immediately with the measurement. We click on finish and the Datalogger is now ready and has already started recording. Regarding the measurements, I want to bring your attention to the importance of the positioning of the Datalogger on the environment. If we want to monitor a specific work of art inside an environment, then the Datalogger obviously must be placed as close as possible to this particular work of art. Instead, only a general environmental monitor is needed. We will have to take some precautions, such as not placing the data logger close to heat sources like heaters or air conditioners. Do not place it near windows because it will get easily affected by the external fluctuation of temperature. Also, the height is important because at the floor level the temperature will be lower, while at the ceiling level it will be higher. Let us suppose we have ended our recording. After a specific period of time we have decided on. So let's see how to download the data. We plug the data logger in the USB port of the same computer we had used earlier for the initial setting. We click on Stop the USB data logger and download data on the second icon. The program will ask if we are sure we want to stop. Of course, we agree, and then the data will be transferred to your computer. In this test we have only 77 readings recording in the memory, and we confirm the name of the file, that is very important, and automatically a window will open showing the fluctuation of the temperature and of the relative humidity. Of course, this test was very short, so we can see only the time of the recording. Suppose we are on a real case with a long time of recording. We'll see also the days of the recording. We can see the relative humidity is represented here by the blue line, while the red line represents the temperature which has remained quite stable despite me trying to modify it a bit. The green line represents the dew point. The dew point is the condensation temperature that is automatically calculated from the software based on the actual temperature and humidity. This is an important data because if the dew point line is higher than the actual temperature, we surely have a condensation phenomenon. This is to say that the green line must be always below the red line to avoid risk for our works of art. Another option is we can zoom any desired part of the graph by just selecting it with our cursor to see the enlarged graph. If we want to go back, we click on zoom out to return to the full graph. We can also export and save the graph we obtain in JPEG or PDF format just by clicking on export and choosing the format we want. In this case we are going to choose JPEG. We provide the name we want to give to the file, and we save it in any folder of your choice, on our choice. In this way we have a JPEG file that can be saved, emailed or added to a report. You open the file and you can see the graph that has been faithfully reported. If we want to export a selection of the graph, we just have to zoom the selection, as we have seen before, and obtain the enlarged graph. And then we repeat the export procedure we have seen before for the entire graph. In this case, a message reminds us that this is just a selection. We confirm to export the current view, and we will have the file of our selection, which we can save with a different name, and we will just have an image of our zoom. As you can see, the program is very simple. You can close the window now, and we go to the home window of our software. At this point, Datalogger has stopped recording, and once removed from the USB port, it will remain off. If we want to start over with the recording, we must redo the initial setup procedure. So click Setup and start the USB Datalogger. Now I'll show you the last option given by this software, that is View Previously Saved Data. By clicking here, we will see the folder with the previously saved data, and we can open them. This is why, as I said before, it is important to properly name the files we save to know which environment and which period of time they refer to. Here I will open the source file we saved in this test with a double click, and in this way we see the previously saved data. This is all. Please remember to subscribe and click on the bell button to receive notification about our next video. Thanks for watching.